Hello, my name is Kelly Rock, and this tutorial is an overview of the Psychiatric and Mental Health Nurse Practitioner program at Frostburg State University. I want to take a moment to thank you for your interest in our program. Let me first introduce myself. As I said, my name is Kelly Rock. I have been a nursing professional since 1995. I have been specializing in psychiatry and mental health since the year 2000 and have been a psychiatric and mental health nurse practitioner since 2006. Currently, I serve as the Nurse Practitioner Program Director and the Psychiatric and Mental Health Nurse Practitioner Concentration Coordinator at Frostburg State. I'd like to provide you with just a little bit of background in regards to the history of the Nurse Practitioner program at Frostburg State. We were very lucky to obtain grant funding for a period of almost 2 years in order to plan this program. Throughout that planning process, we confirmed a need for both a family nurse practitioner and Psych NP providers in our local area in Western Maryland, and we were also pleased to confirm a desire and support within the community for such a program. We spent quite a bit of time developing the program itself with specific concentrations. And I'm even more pleased to tell you that this has been approved through the Frostburg State University internal governance, approved by the University System of Maryland Board of Regents, and then most recently approved by the Maryland Higher Education Commission. We're very proud of the program that we've developed here at Frostburg and believe that it is unique from a number of different angles. First of all, we are offering this program at the Master's of Science in Nursing degree level. We are currently in planning phases for a Doctor of Nursing program, but at this time, our NP program is being offered at the MSN level. The psychiatric concentration is a total of 60 credits. Our program has an explicit focus on rural healthcare delivery. That does not mean that this program is inappropriate for those interested in practicing in more urban settings, but we do want to be transparent that our focus on rural delivery will be woven through every semester and every course. Our target student demographic within our program is the seasoned, experienced registered nurse who already lives and works in a rural, medically underserved area. Our hope is that after successful completion of this program, they will stay where they already live and work and be able to provide that higher level of care that their community so desperately needs. Our program is what we call blended or hybrid in delivery, meaning that the vast majority of your coursework can be completed online, but there are intermittent on-campus requirements. This was discussed vigorously throughout the planning phases, and we absolutely believe in having students come to class for things that really cannot be completed with quality assurance online. So there will be opportunities to both learn and then test learning on campus. Students often want a detailed 2-year schedule of what their on-campus requirements will look like throughout their program, but at this time we can't offer that. What we can tell you is that students should plan for an average of 2 visits to campus most semesters of their program, but not all. Each visit will last approximately 2 full days, and again, these are approximations, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., so 2 full days. We can promise you that the exact dates and times will be finalized a full semester in advance because we know that our students are likely going to be working and juggling family responsibilities and need as much advanced planning opportunities as possible, and we're dedicated to deliver that to you. Our program is also very pleased to have a dedicated clinical placement coordinator. Her name is Ms. Julie Miller, and she will work with every student individually to ensure a student-centered plan to complete your clinical practicums. Additionally, our program offers competitive tuition and fee rates. Next, I would like to call your attention to our psychiatric and mental health nurse practitioner web pages. Here on this slide, you will see a link that will take you directly to those pages, but I would also like to take a few moments to show you how to navigate in case this link doesn't work. Here is the Frostburg State University homepage, and unfortunately our pages are not the easiest to find. So I'm going to show you step by step how to locate them. Under Academic Programs, you will scroll down and click on Graduate Programs. You will then scroll down this page until you come to Nursing. You will see our 4 current concentrations at the master's degree level in nursing. And if you are interested in the Psychiatric and Mental Health Nurse Practitioner program, you will click on this link. And you will be taken directly to our landing page for all of our web pages. Let me just take a moment to introduce you to this. This landing page contains a basic overview talking about the blended program delivery format, the fact that we have 2 options for students to complete their program, again highlighting our rural focus, talking a bit about practicum courses, tuition and cost, accreditation, how to apply, and who to contact for additional information. I also want to call your attention to this section called Program Details. Here you will find a curricular overview of each class required in our program, the minimum admission requirements, a page with frequently asked questions, and both full and part-time progression plans. I'd like to take some amount of time to review the admission requirements for our program, as every nurse practitioner program in the U.S. is a little different as far as what they require for admission. So for our program and for the psych concentration, you need an unencumbered registered nurse license, a BSN in nursing. You need to have a GPA of 3.0 at the minimum on the last 60 hours of coursework. And we will also require your official transcripts, even if you went to Frostburg State. You need to successfully complete a 3-credit undergraduate statistics course with a minimum of a B. You need to submit a current curriculum vitae, which is a little different than a resume. We are asking students to write an essay pertaining to personal career objectives, what it means to be a nurse practitioner, and why you feel that you will succeed as such. We're asking students to submit 3 professional letters of recommendation. You will be asked, if you meet minimum admission requirements, to come to campus for a personal face-to-face interview. You are required to have a criminal background check and a child abuse clearance. Last, and perhaps most importantly, You must have 2 years minimum of clinical nursing experience, 1 year minimum in a medical surgical setting, and 1 year minimum in a mental health setting. There are a limited number of seats available in both concentrations, and we do remind students that admission is competitive, similar to other nurse practitioner programs offered in the U.S. Students tend to become a bit anxious when they find out that there is a face-to-face interview. So what should students expect prior to this interview? Well, we're going to be reviewing with you your personal nursing education. We will be asking you to review professional experience as a registered nurse. And we're also going to be asking you to highlight professional activities. Examples of these professional activities may mean talking about work groups with which you are involved, active participation in a local, regional, state, or national nursing organization. It may be an overview of becoming ANCC certified in your specific nursing area of expertise or your field. So be prepared to talk about steps that you have taken to advance your baccalaureate nursing professional history. We're going to ask you to highlight how your career goals align with our program mission. We want to make sure that you are knowledgeable about the nurse practitioner role. We also want to ensure that you're knowledgeable about core ethical values that are imperative to the nurse practitioner role. Last, we're going to ask you to demonstrate critical thinking abilities. As I said previously, there are 2 flexible options for students in order to complete the psychiatric and mental health nurse practitioner program. There is a full-time and a part-time option. Let's go back to the website and review that information. Here we are back at the main landing page using the link that I provided in an earlier slide. Full and part-time progression plans are available under program details by clicking on this link. And what you'll see is a 2-page document. The first page is the full-time psych progression plan. The second is the part-time progression plan. I know that you're able to read this for yourself, but I would just like to point out a couple of features of this progression plan. These aren't always easy to read and understand. So at the top, you'll see that this is full-time, a total of 60 credits, a total of 630 practicum hours, which can be completed in 7 total semesters. You'll notice that this vertical column reads year 1, 2, and 3, and then across the top you have fall, spring, and summer. So you will notice that this is a year-round program. There are no options for summers off. There are no classes available or offered during intersession, which is sometimes called the winter semester. So students are admitted to the nurse practitioner program fall only. It is a fall start only option, and every student that starts in the fall will finish in the fall of the 3rd year or the 7th consecutive semester if they're going full time. If we look at the part-time progression, you will see that the number of credits is the same, the number of practicum hours is the same, and the total semesters, it says 7, but that's incorrect. The correct number is 13, and that will be changed on the website. Again, you will have the years along the y-axis, the semesters across the x-axis. Let me go back up here to the full-time progression plan. What we have included in each block is the course identifier and the name. In the parentheses, you will see the number of credits for each individual class. And then at the bottom in the right-hand side, you will see the total number of credits per semester, the total of practicum hours that semester, and if you are required to come to campus, you will also see an asterisk and this statement that says requires limited on-campus attendance. So for example, for a full-time Psych NP student, you will see 2 semesters, the first and the third semester, where courses are offered completely online with no on-campus requirements. You will see that every other semester has limited on-campus attendance requirements. Also, you will notice how many practicum hours you will need to complete in any given semester. For example, a full-time Psych NP student has no clinical practicum hours the first 3 semesters of their program. In fact, it is not until the 4th semester that they have to start their clinical practicum hours. You will see the same indication here for the part-time progression plan. Students have 0 practicum hours until the middle of their 3rd year before they actually start their clinical practicum hours. So I hope that this makes sense in order to understand both full-time and part-time progression plans for the Psych NP student. Students usually have quite a number of questions that tend to revolve around practicums that are required in the Psych NP program. Again, there is a total of 630 hours, and it never seems like any amount of hours is quite enough to prepare someone to go out and begin to practice autonomously in the community. So what this slide tries to explain is that there are 6 focused practicums that students need to complete. They are all identified here under these dot points. So we have, for example, psychiatric diagnostic reasoning across the lifespan. That's the first clinical that students in this concentration will complete, and that is 135 hours. That particular practicum is focused explicitly on diagnosis, on making diagnoses and coming up with a list of differential diagnoses. It doesn't involve treatment planning or additional patient care or prescribing. It's just focused on how to make an excellent diagnosis. Then we have therapeutic management of adult and geriatric psychopathology for 135 hours. Again, every practicum rotation has a very explicit focus, and each one builds on one another. So, for example, this practicum will include everything that you have learned in the psychiatric diagnostic practicum, which is all about making an excellent diagnosis, and then how to therapeutically manage psychopathology in the adult or the geriatric client. We then have the adult and geriatric focused brief individual and group therapy for the psychiatric NP. So our program doesn't train you to be a PsyD or a PhD or an LCPC or an MSW or any of the other host of professionals that are involved in counseling and psychotherapy. Our course is very focused on the nurse practitioner role and training you to know what you are qualified and not qualified to do in as far as counseling and therapy is concerned. I think these other ones will kind of speak for themselves. Again, the therapeutic management of child and adolescent psychopathology will again build on everything that you have learned in these 3 prior practicums, except the focus will be explicitly on children and adolescents. Same thing here, child and adolescent-focused individual and family therapy for the Psych NP, 45 hours. In your last semester, you're going to take a course, your last practicum course, which is Therapeutic Management of Vulnerable Populations Across the Lifespan. And that particular practicum is going to be student-centered and specialized according to your need and your career objectives. And we can talk about that a little bit more once you get into the program. I do want to mention that the types of sites that our students will be rotating through will be various and will really be based on the age focus for that particular clinical and the practicum objectives. So, for one practicum, you may be in a community mental health center. You may do some hours on an inpatient behavioral health unit. You may be placed in a residential treatment facility, a partial hospitalization program. You may opt to do sometimes in correctional or juvenile justice facilities in select rotations. You may end up doing some hours at a substance abuse treatment facility, even a skilled nursing facility, etc. The sky really is the limit, and we are going to be flexible and try to offer you as diverse of an experience as we possibly can throughout your program. I do also want to qualify that preceptors will also vary based, again, on the age focus of that particular practicum and the objectives. So it is our hope that you do spend the vast majority of your time with a psychiatric and mental health nurse practitioner. But we realize that across the country, only 4% of NPs hold a psych certification, so that may not be realistic in every rotation. So we're also going to be looking for psychiatric clinical nurse specialists. You may do some rotations or some hours with a psychiatrist or a master's or doctorally prepared counselor or therapist, again, depending on the particular practicum and the objectives. Speaking of objectives, I'm going to take us down another road here at this time. We're going to stop talking about practicums and start talking again about the overall program. So it's important for you to know that our program is aligned with the following: the AACN Essentials of Master's Education in Nursing, the AACN Essentials of Master's Education for Advanced Practice Nursing, the NONPF criteria for evaluation of nurse practitioner programs, and we have started to align our program with the AACN Essentials of Doctoral Education for Advanced Nursing Practice. We have decided to align our program with that last dot point because we believe that it is important that we begin to do that at this time, as we know that the national push is for nurse practitioners eventually to be trained at the doctoral level. Now, I say all of this because we have a lot of students who are interested in our accreditation plans. So I'd like to share with you how we are preparing for accreditation for the nurse practitioner program. So as per national accreditation standards, we at Frostburg will invite AACN, CCNE, which is the National Accreditation Organization, for a site visit after the program has run for 2 full semesters. That's as early as we are permitted to invite them. That invitation will be sent the spring of 2019. We have hired a dedicated accreditation specialist who is now on staff to ensure and oversee a culture of accreditation readiness at all times. It's important for me to tell you that we have full university, college, and departmental commitment to ensure successful accreditation. Our accreditation is not only important to our students, but it is the most important thing to faculty as well. I also do want to say that Frostburg State Department of Nursing has an excellent history of accreditation success. Currently, all of our nursing programs are fully accredited. Students should also be asking questions about the cost for the Psych NP program. In an earlier slide, I had mentioned that it is competitive, and indeed it is. We have proposed something called tuition differential for the nurse practitioner program at Frostburg. As you can imagine, it is much more expensive to deliver a nurse practitioner program than, say, one of our completely online programs. And because of that, and because of our inability to absorb all of the differential costs, we have made a proposal to the Board of Regents within the University System of Maryland asking for a higher tuition for this program. That proposal is under consideration, and we are expecting that a final decision will be made in May of 2018. If our proposal is approved as submitted, the approximate tuition and fee costs are as follows. Please keep in mind textbooks and other materials like lab coats and stethoscopes are not included. So for the Psych NP program for an in-state student, $32,565. For a regional student, $36,225. And for an out-of-state student, that's $43,240. Again, that is program costs. That's not per semester or per year. That is a total cost for tuition and fees. You may have a question about the regional tuition rate and what a regional student might look like, and I'd like to show you on the website. Here we are back at the main Frostburg State University webpage, and you'll notice here in the search bar I have typed in regional tuition. I'm going to click on the magnifying glass. And then you'll want to click on this very first link here where it says regional tuition rate. And you'll see here the red circle, which encompasses all of our regional students. So that may be outside of Maryland, maybe into parts of Washington, D.C., Virginia, West Virginia, and Pennsylvania. So Frostburg State University offers reduced tuition to residents of those states, and Ohio, who live within 120 miles of campus. And other information regarding the regional tuition rates can be found here on this webpage. We also get asked frequently how to go about applying to the Psych NP program, and I will call your attention back to those web pages and to the website for information and directions. Let's take a look at that. Again, I'm going to navigate from the FSU main homepage, and we're going to again click on Academic Programs and click on Graduate Programs. You can apply to the Psych NP program in a number of different ways. There are links on many different pages that will take you directly to the application. One thing that I do want to point out is you can apply online directly from the graduate program's homepage by clicking on this link. I do want to call your attention to the fact that all students that apply for graduate programs, their applications will go directly to the Office of Graduate Services. If you have any questions or run into any problems about completing the online application, completing the paper application, you're wanting to know if your application has been received or where it is in process, you will contact the Office of Graduate Services. The Department of Nursing, including myself, only receive information on applicants who have completed their entire application process. So any questions up until that point need to be directed to this office. And here you will find not only their phone number, but also their email address. And again, you can click on Apply Online here, or you can click back on our specific web pages. It doesn't matter how you go about this. You'll see links to apply a number of different places. And you'll see here, you can apply online here. There are very detailed instructions. Okay, you'll want to make sure that you read everything and that you review everything. One thing that I haven't yet gone over are deadlines. So what I will say is that we are currently in the process of interviewing students, and it's quite likely that we will be eventually in a process of interviewing students year-round for fall start programs. Again, we have a limited number of slots that are available this very first year for the fall of 2018, but those slots are not yet filled. So I would encourage you, if you are interested and if you meet the minimum admission requirements, if you have an interest in the fall 2018 semester, don't delay, apply now. You'll also see by scrolling all the way down that you can start an online application, or you can download a printable application. Whatever you prefer is fine with us. Last, I would like to provide some contact information if you have questions or would just like to talk with someone who's a bit more involved in the program. Again, my name is Dr. Kelly Rock. I am the Nurse Practitioner Program Director, and I also coordinate the Psychiatric and Mental Health concentration. I can be reached at kmrock@frostburg.edu or by phone at 301-687-4893. You can also contact Ms. Kayla Bradley, who is our Marketing, Recruitment, and Retention Specialist. She can be available at klbradley@frostburg.edu or via telephone at 301-687-3042. Thank you so much for your time and your attention and your interest in our Psychiatric and Mental Health Nurse Practitioner Program at Frostburg State University.